right, guys. Once again, it's your girl, Jackie Rae, right here on CBTV Radio and 950 Lounge, wherever you hear your podcast. You guys know Jemele Hill. I feel like her and I are cut from a similar cloth. This is also a woman who has gone, I feel like, above and beyond to defend Colin Kaepernick and his peaceful protest, which I applaud her for that. She also kind of stays on the forefront of talking about Black issues, things that affect the Black community, and trying to champion on our behalf and make us aware and educate us and things of that nature. So I'm very, very proud of her for that. So I'm definitely going to give Jemele Hill a benefit of the doubt. And normally I wouldn't even talk about this because of that. But this is a topic that comes up in our community far too often, and I personally just could not overlook it. So she took to Twitter. This was her tweet. She says, "I have increasingly found that many Black men just want better access to patriarchy. They don't actually want it dismantled." So just in case you don't understand, because I know sometimes we throw words around. If you don't understand what patriarchy is, it means, like the man is the head of the family and everyone kind of goes in his direction. That is one way that word can be used. But it also means it's a system of society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it. Yes, there's an issue. There is a divide between Black men and Black women, and we need to address that. But we need to address it internally. We don't address it publicly in a world that loves to find fault with us. I don't like this comment from her at all. You do have us, and when I say us, I mean Black women. We are leading the charge for equality in this country. We are leading the charge to say, hey, stop shooting our Black men down in the street. Hey, stop sending our Black men to prison and talk about we don't have Black men to raise their families. Stop sending our Black men to prison for nonviolent offenses that white folks is getting probation for. Stop doing that. It is definitely us leading the charge in that aspect. And sometimes when you're at the front of the line, you do feel like you're isolated and Black men don't have your back. I've felt that way. And obviously Jemele Hill has felt that way. But it's her wording that I have a problem with. You don't know many Black men to say this, because the majority of Black men that I know fall outside the societal norms that say, oh, Black men they always choose white women. They always mistreat Black women, things of that nature. 90% of the Black men that I know do not fall within that narrative. So if I were to write a post, my post would be, many Black men love and respect Black women. I don't know none of us do. None of us know a whole bunch of people outside of our circle. That's just a fact. I don't care what your race is, where you come from. None of us know a whole bunch of people that lie outside of our circle. And so people came for her. And one of the things that was said to her that I really wanted her to respond to, but she didn't, is a tweet from Rizza. Now, you guys probably know him, Rizza Islam. He is part of the Nation of Islam. I love him. I love to hear him speak because he be dropping facts so quick. I love him. But he took to her Twitter and he pretty much echoed the sentiment that I said. He said, you don't have conversations with Black men. You are around white men in Black skin. And that's harsh too. But when you think about it, when you're talking about the organization, she doesn't work for any Black-owned companies. As far as I know, aside from her going to an HBCU, I don't think she's ever worked for a Black-owned company. So you are, and that's the problem, right? And now I'm not talking about any companies badly. I'm just saying that you learn very quickly as a Black person that there's just not enough room for a whole bunch of y'all when it's not a Black company. You learn very quickly. They call it crabs in a barrel is what my grandma used to call it. When I got older, I realized that's not it. It's just that when you're in a white company, there's not enough Black spots. And trust me, there's a quota. There's not enough. That's why when you see these companies, you see a whole bunch of white people, and then you have that one Black person in the back like, hey, I made it, because there's just not a lot of room for us. And so because of that, Black people start to acclimate, change their behavior, their speech, their vernacular to fit in with the culture that's not even their own. So that's what he means by that. You are around white men and Black skin. right? So he's not being negative. He's just getting to the point a lot quicker. It's only 150 characters you can use on Twitter, you guys. So he had to get to the point. But he said, feel free to reach out for real black men and have a conversation when you're finished bashing us and doing the white man's job of perpetuating division among black men and women for him. I don't need to say nothing else. I totally agree with this. We as black people cannot keep pushing these narratives. I understand that we need to have these conversations, but we can't keep pushing negative narratives about each other and expecting these narratives to change. Let's take this in-house. Let's have this conversation in-house. Let's build together, and then let's go outside and move together. This is not acceptable to me. He did follow it up, and because she came back to him, combative, which I get, because his tweet was kind of combative, but it was right. She came back to him and said, I don't have conversations with real black men, as a question. She said, dude, stop it. Rather than get so defensive, why don't you have conversations with real black women to get some perspective? I'm a real black woman. I do not share your perspective. I do not believe that black men, even the ones that choose white women, I do not believe that black men are out here trying to do away with a system that is designed to oppress them specifically so they can get a little higher to oppress us. There ain't no parts of me that believe that. Not one single solitary part. But you have to understand that that's basically what your tweet said, and it was reckless at best. Shouldn't have been said. But he invites her and he says, I would be honored to have a dialogue with you, sister. I don't think you know of me, for you would know that I am one of the brothers who stand up for black women on a consistent basis. Caucasian, male, white supremacy, patriarchy is what you're referring to. Ready when you are. And I really hope and pray that she has this dialogue, not only one-on-one with him, but that is something that we need to see publicly, because that is a black man who I know for a fact, because I follow him all the time. He not only stands up for black women, he stands up for black people, period. She needs to see more of that. I think the only way you say something like this, which is reckless, and she just married a black man. So when you say many, how many black men are in your husband's family that fall into this narrative? Because if you're saying many, there's a couple of them that are in your husband's family that fall into that narrative. There's a couple of them that are in your family that fall into that narrative. There's a couple of them in Carrie Champion, your colleague's family, who falls into that narrative. Now, if you won't sit here and say that none of the black men in the circles that I just named fall into that narrative, then this tweet shouldn't have been said. Period, and that's all. It's reckless. You need to have this conversation, and you need to let us watch it.